Hey there YouTube, it's Jeff Perry with Must Be Nice Investments. Today we're going to be talking about your options for 100% financing on your on a rental property. And one of the things I always tell people is, hey, you got to have money if you're going to invest in real estate. So if you don't have any, find a way to make some, put it in the market first, bring it out when you have enough and make your investment. But in several rare cases, you can do at least 100% financing. You may have some other closing costs associated with that loan. But we're going to go into those options today and what it takes. But first, let's do some business. Guys, I got a brand new channel. If you would, please hit a like on this video if you like it. And then please hit a subscription. We got a lot of videos and a lot of content coming in the next few weeks. So pay it forward for me, guys. It's really hard to start a new channel. But today we're going to talk about owner-occupied financing. Buying as an owner-occupant is one of the best ways to get into the landlord business by buying a home that makes sense as a rental property, but you buy it as a personal residence and live there the required amount of time, which is 12 months, that the owner occupancy loan requires as a borrower to do. And as the owner occupant, you get the best financing terms, and you may be able to put down as little as 3.5% with FHA financing, but you also may be able to put down less with other types of financing, which we'll cover in a minute. The loan will stay in place the life of the loan. So if you move out a year from then or 10 years from then, whatever it may be, you still have the same financing terms, etc. Depending on the rate, you may want to keep it there, but your down payment will not change. It's really one of the best ways to go. In fact, a rental property that I still own was actually the first house that I ever bought. My family lived in it for a while before we moved out, and tried to sell it, and actually kind of got into the rental property business on accident. But it's a property I still own. It's been renting out, for the last 7-8 years. There's a couple other reasons why this makes sense. You move into the property and learn a lot about the property. If there's things you need to fix, things you want to change, any specific issues or kinks to work out before you have a renter in there. That way you kind of understand the house a little bit better. You can also do renovations while you're in there, while you're living there, so you're not making a house payment for 3 months while you're renovating it. You're actually living in the renovation, so you're not making your own personal house payment or a rental. Maybe you're in an apartment and paying the mortgage note on this while you renovate it, so you're down to one payment there while you renovate. And then it's also going to make you a little more selective because, one, you're going to buy properties that you are going to want to live in, on streets that you're going to want to live in, which means you're going to have tenants that you're going to want to deal with later in life, or later down the road. Obviously, I don't suggest that anyone should buy properties that they themselves wouldn't feel comfortable living in. But obviously, as you get a bigger portfolio, you grow some wealth, etc., you're going to buy properties that you wouldn't want to live in just because you don't have to. But it wouldn't be areas that are unsafe, and you don't want to deal with areas like that either. Now, if you use this strategy for 100% finance, what we call USDA Rural Development Loan, you can 100% finance that. Another option you can do is to work a rebate with the seller, a seller's concession of up to 3%. So let's say you weren't able to get the USDA Rural Development Loan, but you were on FHA, which was 3.5%. In some cases, with some lenders, you can do a seller's concession up to 3%. Which would allow you to, hopefully you can work that into a deal after with the final price that you'll go under contract. If not, you can actually up the property value. So say you were going to go under contract for 100, you came back and said, you know what, let's do it at 103, but give me a 3% concession at closing. And then you go to the lender and say, all right, they're going to provide 3%. Basically, I'm coming up with just $500 in a down payment plus my closing costs. So that's one way to get you really close to 100% financing. The only way to really do it is to go with one of these 100% financed USDA rural development loans, which these are harder and harder to get these days, but this wasn't that uncommon, 10, 15, 20 years ago. Again, move it in the house. You got to live there for a year. You got to owner occupy, and then you can get out of there and keep that original loan and bring a tenant in. Another option is to buy a house that has either multiple living quarters or has the option to add multiple living quarters, which this can even be a better deal. I wish when I was younger I would have done something like this. Of course, in fact, I had children and stuff to move in the house, so I didn't really do this. But if you have a duplex, if you buy a duplex, you can live in one side, rent the other. Typically, that's gonna kind of cancel out your side of the mortgage and you're going to be living there for free. Live there for a year, move out. Now you got 2 tenants. You got twice the income coming in some cases. Or you could buy a property that has, maybe a convertible basement or a garage that you can convert, or a garage apartment that'll allow you to add another living space. And if you really want to make money, once you convert that space, you could live in that space yourself while you rent out the house and probably make bank there as well until you save up enough for the next property. Then you rent that small space out and buy your next one and live in it and keep doing this until you build enough wealth to kind of live independently on your own. Hopefully, by the time you get into your next property, you're able to get into more conventional financing terms where it's going to require 20-25% down to get into that. But these are the main options. If you're looking for 100% financing, it's kind of a rare thing to be able to get. But these are the ways you can do it, guys. If you have any questions, hit them down in the comments. And again, please subscribe to the channel. We got more videos coming up in the next several weeks.